Hello, this is tomorrow 11:11 doing my deck profile of my Lightsworn Morphtronics, which you saw in the last game that played against the Junk Doppel fabled deck thing. Okay, so first of all I'll run through the Lightsworns that I'm running. I'm running 2 Lila basically for spell and trap destruction, along with the Heavy Storm. Most people would still run these and Mystical Space Typhoons, but I consider these to be enough, and I just get to mill 3 at the end phase. Ryko is basically just spot destruction, just kill anything. Charge of the Light Brigade, as most people know, send the top 3 to the grave and add 1 Lightsworn, so basically any of these. With the amount of milling that I do, I've put Dandelion in here to be a token generator to be used as synchro material with Lantron, Remoten, Scopen, and Formula. I've recently added in Sangan as soon as everything in this deck is targetable by Sangan other than the Lilas, but they've also got their other searcher. So Sangan hits anything, so I can toolbox for the right situation. Say I've got a junk box but I've only got the level 1 self on, I can search the Lantron to hand, so I can normal summon it, make formula after the plays with self on. Now onto the Morphtronics. I have 1 Boomboxen. It's just level 4, can attack twice if it's an attack. In defense, no others can be selected as an attack target. I generally don't have any Morphtronics in defense in this deck, other than when they're bought by duplication, and then that would only be Remoten. Next card is Lantron, which is the level 1 tuner for this deck. Also, with its effect, it's basically just stops all chain burn decks, because any effect damage from your opponent's card, the effect that's inflicted to your opponent's life is inflicted to your opponent's life points instead. So say for example they go a Jammer Trio, which would be an issue, then do something like Just Desserts and everything else they normally do, it would burn themselves for it. And in defense, I'd take no battle damage if it's destroyed for the rest of the turn, which is useless. And also, chain burn generally don't run monsters, and monsters that would be able to run over this other than Morphing Jar, and even then not everyone runs it, so this can practically lock down the deck in 1 card. Next is Radion, which is the generic booster. If it's an attack, it increases all by 800, making it an 1800 beater outright, and also 1900 defense if you decide to set it first turn, which isn't too bad. Now to one of the main cards, other main cards of this deck, Remoten, level 3 tuner, puny stats. You banish a Morphtronic of a certain level to search for another one from the deck at the same level. This is why another reason why I'm running the Lightsworns, basically to fill the grave with correct levels. So I would banish a Lantron and search yourself onto the hand, or I might banish a Boomboxen to bring a Radion, or I might banish another Remoton to bring Scopen. It's just everything has the own counter targets for it. So basically you get to bring a free card to your hand from the deck. So say if you've made something like Brio that you need to discard for, that can give you an extra bounce for only banishing 1. There is a deck that focuses on looping leads using Leviair and stuff like that, but I've never really looked into it into enough detail to run it. That's why I'm not running Levier or anything like that. Whilst it's in defense, you discard a Morphtronic to bring one from the grave to your hand of the same level. I very rarely use that because it's basically a 1-for-1, which nowadays isn't good enough. Next card is Scopen, level 3 tuner. If it's an attack, you can special summon a level 4 from your hand and destroy it during the end phase. That's mainly to go into Powell and Black Rose, and I have a few targets, I think 4. Boomboxen, 2 Radion and Stapleton. So that will give me an instant level 7, and when it's in defense it's level 4. So level 4 tuner, always useful. Maybe go into an 8 or something larger. Next is Stapleton. I very rarely actually use this one, and I've just put it back into the deck really as another Scopen target. If it's destroyed when it's in attack, your opponent loses 300 attack. If it's in defense, it switches your opponent's attack position monster, another attack position monster, to defense, and switches this back up to attack. So you can quite easily get both effects in the same turn if that's what you're after. I've put 1 Camran into the deck. When it's destroyed when it's in face-up attack position, you can special summon 1 Morphtronic from your hand or your grave. So you search anything from the grave. Another reason why I've got the Lightsworn engine. And the final monsters are 3 Self-On. These are the gamblers and the combo makers for the deck. All you do is roll a 6-sided dice, look at the top cards of your deck, and special summon any Morphtronic. No, you summon 1 Morphtronic that's lower than level 4. And this deck there is 17, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16. So 16 Morphtronics in a 41 card deck. 13. So on average I've got to roll a 3 and about 3.3 to hit 1 on average. But of course averages aren't always right. I've hit Morphtronics with a single roll, and I haven't hit a Morphtronic in a 6 roll. It's just purely luck based, and the DN Shuffler. After that we basically got Staples, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn. As I've said before, I'm not running MSTs because I've got Lilas and they're reusable. Another reason I've been running the milling engine is Junk Box. Basically just special summon a level 4 lower Morphtronic from the graveyard and it's destroyed at the end phase. I'll use that to bring a Self-On, roll for Self-On's effect, hopefully hit a tuner, Lantron, Scopen, Remoten, maybe get to use their effects for a turn and then sync off with them. So to get a Formula play or an arm play. And say for example you may get lucky, hit Self-On, hit Self-On, hit Lantron, and then you can go into Galaxy Queen. The Ryko, the Lightsworn engine is fueling the grave, so Junk Box will almost always have a target. Next card is Machine Duplication. This has 3 main targets in the deck, which are the Self-On, the Remoten, and the Lantron. So if I open 1 Self-On and Machine Duplication, I've basically got the opportunity of 3 special summons, and on situations I have been able to go into Shooting Star first turn, and there probably is some really awkward way to get Shooting Quasar on the first turn, but I haven't luck-sacked into it yet. Next is Magical Stone Excavation, because the spells are actually rather important in this deck. I know it's an instant -2, but the spells you can bring back can do pluses a lot faster, like bring back a reborn, bring back a junk box, bring back a 1-for-1 to research a scope, the Self-on from the deck. Next card, 1-for-1, because it has a few targets, Self-ons, Lantrons, and they're always needed. Pot of Avarice, as soon as I fill the grave up quickly enough with the Lightsworns, Pot of Avarice is quite good because other than with Remoten they're not going to be banished, and I can also refill the extra deck to bring back the Formula, Synchrons and the Army Arms and anything else that I've played up to that point. There will be the occasional turns where you won't be able to special summon a lot, so say set Dandelion, set Raikou, summon Lila, or maybe set Radion if it just isn't going well in that duel. So you can activate Pot of Dualities and then like resting turns. I'm running a triple Call of the Haunted. This is like the same thing as Junk Box, basically bring back a Self-on, hopefully going to something else. Or it's also chainable to MSTs if you've got the Dandy in the grave, the Sangan in the grave, to get you 3 tokens or a free search. I'm running 3 of them because I am running the Lightsworn engine, and if I mill 1 I've got less chance of drawing into the others, and at the same time more chance of drawing into the others. I don't really know how that mechanic of the drawing engine really works. And finally, 2 Solemn Warnings as the summon negation for this deck. The side deck for this isn't really the proper side deck that I'd normally run, but I have been sliding into the 3 Fiendish Chains, and I've been going into this other stuff to test it, other than the tour guides. As soon as I only have 1 tour guide, I don't realistically want to start putting it in every single deck that I have. That's just me. I just don't like using cards I don't have, other than if I'm really testing a new kind of idea like this was. I would normally put the Fiendish Chains over the 2 Dualities and the second Machine Duplication. Okay, now on to the extra deck. It's basically just staples. You've got the Catister and Librarian at 5, 2 Army Arms. You've got Rose and Power Tool, Bio at 6, Power Tool and Rose at 7, 8 I've got Stardust Dragon, and I've also been using Livestream Dragon because there will be the situations where this deck doesn't go off first turn and you don't play a single card, so you'll be at a disadvantage right from the start. And say if you have to play a warning or something like that, it automatically makes your life points 4,000. This isn't counted as an increase in life points, so it gets round stuff like reverse burn, which I've faced quite a few times with this deck. Also nullifies chain burn because any effect damage becomes 0, so you can be Magic Cylinder just to negate the attack, but you won't take any damage from it. And as soon as I don't use any equipped spells, last effect live stream isn't viable. And then I have Shooting Stardust Dragon, which has come out in quite a few duels, like turn 3, turn 5, and has basically finished the game from there. As of yet, I've not been able to summon Shooting Quasar, but I think with some good luck and an easy-ish opponent, I may be able to summon Shooting Quasar with the deck, but it may take stalling a few turns and maybe Galaxy Queen shenanigans. I've also got Utopia in there, basically because I do make quite a few Army Arms and I've got the targets for it that can be specialed, and if I've special something through Junk Box, it's going to be destroyed at the end of the turn anyway. And I also put a Zen Mines in, just in case I use Machine Duplication on 3 Remotons. So I can use all 3 Remotons effects search stuff to the hand, and then go into a Zen Mines and just stall for a few turns. Currently with this deck I've got like a 60-40 win percentage, but I haven't been against very many meta decks as such, so I'm not sure how it stands with them, but I'm really enjoying playing with the deck. As soon as I'm a big fan of like gambler decks, and Selphon basically does that by itself. It's the combo starter, the combo finisher. Formula, always lucky, would always get some luck with the draws. And it's basically just a fun deck that I've been playing for a couple of weeks now. I'm having fun with it. So that's the deck profile for it. Thank you for listening, and see you all next time.